Anyone ever been in the military? Like Marine Corps or Army or something, Navy? You ever tried out for Navy SEALs or Green Beret if you're in the Army, Special Forces if you're in Marine Corps? Heavyweight training. I was in infantry in the Marine Corps. That was hard too. I put it like this. We went to the School of Infantry after we finished boot camp, and I remember we did a 26-mile hump. I'm just spontaneously sharing the things that really stand out to where it was like really hard. And that's not even as hard as the Special Forces training. That's another level. But this was pretty damn hard. And it was 26 miles. And you got a backpack, you got your rifle, which I would always lose and I'd get in trouble. I'd just forget about it, you know. I'd go take a piss and I'd put the rifle down and I'm thinking about other stuff, and then I walk out and leave my rifle. It's like the worst thing you can do in the Marines. So they would torture me about that. Like bad. They just thought I was they thought they couldn't fathom. Here's the irony. I scored super high in the ASVAB test. An ant bit me. I scored really high on the aptitude test, so I could pick anything I wanted. So they're like, why did he pick infantry? And I'll tell you why I picked it, and I've shared it before. I wanted to do what Rambo was doing. I wanted to go fight, and save the girl, right? Edging. So they couldn't fathom that I was really that stupid, that I could just continuously forget my rifle. But I wouldn't call it stupid. I justified it and said I was a retarded genius. That's what I said. They didn't grasp that though. Anyway, we did a 26-mile hike with all this equipment. We're probably carrying, 40 pounds of equipment, boots, everything. Man, I got to where I've never been pushed that hard in my life. And I used to run track and I'd box and I was in a bunch of different sports. Wrestling's intense, but I didn't get pushed to this level. I was literally falling asleep walking because I'd start dreaming. And I'd be like, oh, I'm still walking. And I would hallucinate. I didn't know it. When later years, I did plant medicine, and I'm like, damn, I was seeing the same thing when I was doing this crazy hike. So that's super, super intense. I'm saying that semen retention is harder than that. It's harder in a different way. See, after you finish the School of Infantry or the Special Forces or the Foreign Legion or whatever, that ends at a certain point. That doesn't just go on forever. You go through this intense training, you vomit, you pass out, some die, but then it's over. When you start this semen retention, particularly when you start trying to be free of edging, some of you know how, there's no end to that. You can always fine-tune more the edging process. But just being free of this sexual impulse and the heavy lust, just that, you guys know how tough that can be, because you're undoing generations and generations of DNA. Did your family do this? I don't think so. Does society doing it? Are they doing it? Is it helping you? Like, you go into society and they're like, yeah, right on, man, preserve your fluid. Is that what you hear? No. Are the doctors saying it? No, they say the opposite. They say go and lose your fluid because it's healthy. So the whole world's on a certain level against this. You're not getting supported. So you have that, plus it's hard to undo such a deep habit. That's why I say it's harder than Special Forces. Special Forces training or these other schools, military, they don't last, maybe a few months at the most. This lasts. Some of you have been at it for years. This is why nobody does it though. You see now why nobody does the things that really matter? you want to go make a bunch of money, or people consider that a success. Man, that's so easy compared to this. I mean, if one really wants to make money, I've never really cared much about making money. I've shared before, I had a couple months where I made several thousands of dollars, and that was enough. I said, okay, I know what it feels like to make a bunch of money. Yeah, no thank you. It's not worth the time and the energy, especially when you're just doing things that don't matter, or when you're when you're compromising or selling out or manipulating, which is what most businesses do. It's like a big manipulation, you know. Some of you, not many, maybe one. No, not even one. Actually, I was gonna say, okay, let's say like this. Maybe some are thinking, because I get good audience here, good comments. But maybe some might be thinking, this is how I want to say it. Like, wait, he's starting a semen retention group, September 10, you're welcome. And we're going to discuss all this stuff. And he's charging some money, like, I smell business, right? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I have made probably over 500 free videos on 4 different channels. I answer all the questions and comments as much as I can on actually all of them. Sometimes YouTube deletes them. I just don't see them. I don't know why that happens. So I do that as best as I can. So it's like, okay, does that deserve maybe now some reciprocation? Plus, we're going to be in a group. Plus, it's beneficial. It's $30. You know how many people waste 10 times that on just nothing, on poison? And now, like, spending something for, like, something good. Also, there's some law, you can call it law of circulation. When you're getting something, you give something, right? That's the circle. Otherwise, if I have a miser consciousness, it's like I get, but I can't, it won't assimilate. It's like I have to, you can feel inside. You can feel inside something just, there's been people, man, I had to give something to, I just had to, like, you have to be in touch with that, it's like, there's all kinds of words we can use, abundance. If somebody has a miser quality though, or they're miserable, I know people like that. It's like, no, they just hoard, just take, give me more. Oh, why don't you like contribute something? Why? Go get a real job. This job, if you want to call it a job, I don't call it that. I've spent more hours and energy in this, man, than any other endeavor I embarked on in my life. And I've embarked on a bunch of stuff, you know. So, anyway, I digressed a little, not as a complaint about anything, because everybody's cool. I just somehow, I wanted to, explain that or something. Back to Special Forces. So, this thing don't end, man. This, number one, you have to undo such a deep-seated habit. Sexual instinct, second strongest instinct. First strongest instinct, self-preservation. If somebody's coming at you with the gun, you're gonna get out of the way. It's natural, you can't, unless you're super drunk or high and you're like, everything's cool. But if you're in your normal senses, self-preservation instinct's the strongest. Sexual instinct, second strongest. Well, as strong as the self-preservation instinct is, survive no matter what, if the sexual instinct's second strongest, that's pretty damn strong, isn't it? And it's got perverted over the generations and centuries, and especially in today's world with all the technology and stimulation and the whole, just the internet screwed a lot of things up. It's helped a lot of things too. There's always duality. But this obsession with the opposite sex, that's so deep. It's so hardwired. So what we're doing here, you can say the semen retention journey is about transcending that. It's not about going to the opposite extreme though and becoming a monk. And if you have a girlfriend or wife, you never have sex. No, it's about coming back into a semblance of balance. That's what it's about. That's difficult. That's harder than Special Forces because it doesn't end. It takes a while. Now, I'll tell you what does end. The whole PMO addiction, that ends. I can guarantee you that. You're done. It's like I used to be addicted to smoking weed when I was a teenager. And then I got free of that, but I was super addicted, man. I had to go to a rehab. I just couldn't stop. I was losing my mind, but I couldn't stop. Super addicted. But then after some time, it didn't take long. I had a strong obsession to go get high again at 90 days. I called my sponsor. I tried to get him to tell me it's okay to go get high one more time because I want to remember how bad it is. He says, man, who are you talking to? You're not going to manipulate me with that nonsense. He says, if you want to get high, go get high. But you're not going to get me to tell you it's okay to go get high. He caught me. He called me out. And by grace, I didn't get high. Not by my power. This is what I'm constantly trying to emphasize here, is to really be free of something, grace has to do that for you. Well, somehow I was talking to a brother in a consult today, and I explained there was 3 levels of like support. Best, I don't know best, but it's good. If it's some in-person retreat or in-person dialogue, you're talking with somebody higher level who's doing what you're doing, you get the direct energetic fusion. Second best is having a one-on-one via technology or a group, because you get the energetic support. That gets IV'd into you. If you're open and surrendered and you don't have a overcritical mind, like, oh, these people don't know what they're talking about. No, you stay open and you're in a higher level group, and then you get some of that. That gives you more inspiration and more inner power. Third thing, watching videos or reading books. You do all those things, it's going to put you in touch with your own higher power, your own inner power. That's, at some point, some divine timing, then grace will do for you what you couldn't do for yourself. We can't figure out how that works. Our job is to do the things we know is necessary to help raise the consciousness. And those 3 things I just said help do that. So I was sharing. I said, you can be free of PMO addiction. You can be totally done with that. That can never haunt you again. You can really get free of that, okay? The edging, being attracted to the opposite sex, looking for a dopamine hit sometimes when you feel kind of inwardly restless, that gets more subtle as we evolve. So I'm trying to tell some people who worry about that, man, you can't do that perfectly. You can always go to another level. Can't be perfect, but you start somewhere. Maybe you're edging. I'm making a short on what is edging, because people are asking about that. Edging basically is any time you try to get a dopamine stimulation to escape yourself. And it's real easy to do that with technology and the internet. Masturbating without releasing, looking at things on the internet, even if the girls have their clothes on, just looking, just getting a hit. That's edging. So there's levels to that. Maybe you were the stereotypical definition of edging is when you masturbate, get close to orgasm, but you don't orgasm. And now the people's minds have turned that into a spiritual practice. Yeah, you do that to raise your energy, and then you manifest. And it's total marketing propaganda. But try it if you want. I did. It's all good. So that's the grossest level of edging. Let's say you get rid of that. Next level, when you start going, there's a bunch of levels. I don't know. Take your pick. There's fantasies, sexual fantasies, reliving past escapades you've had with the woman, lusting, seeing women out on the street and objectifying them. Oh, I wonder what she looks like. You do that easy at the beach, see? Trying to get a girl. I'm going to smile at this girl because I want her to smile back at me. Let's see if she does. she did. You get a little hit. If it happens organically, you exchange smiles, cool. But catch yourself when you're putting English on your so-called natural functions as a human. Don't let it get justified and say, well, I'm a guy. Yeah, you're a guy. Do whatever you want to do. But I'm saying those who really are here, whose destiny is to just their character to be more purified and holistic, you're naturally going to be doing this introspection to try to catch yourself out when you're a little off the line. You have to make peace with that and understand that that never ends. Okay? You do the best you can do. Progress, not perfection. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy your transcendence. And at the same time, at the bottom of one mountain is the top of the next. Understand that. The bottom of one hill is the top of another. That sounded better. See you soon.